Hi, welcome back. So Mark Rosewater took to his Twitter page, the blog talk, and he basically announced a new scale we have. Now, for those of you who aren't aware of the Magic scales, and there are surprisingly a lot of people who play who are like really just kitchen top casual players, don't follow like all the online stuff. He has Mark Rosewater, one of the head designers at Magic, one of the head guys at Magic, the Gathering, Wizard of Coast, has a blog called the Blogatog, and you can go online, you can ask him questions, all that stuff, and he usually answers quite a bit of them. But there's always been a scale called the Storm Scale. What the Storm Scale is a scale of 1 to 10, and it details on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the most likely, very likely, all that, and 10 being near impossible, or nigh impossible. The Storm Scale is basically detailing the likelihoods of seeing mechanics return. It's called the Storm Scale because the mechanic Storm is the number 10 on the scale, meaning it is the least likely we're ever going to see that again. That, and apparently Dredge is also on number 10. Either that's a number 9. I don't know the exact Storm Scale right off the top of my head. But other mechanics like, flying and Evergreen Enhance, they show up all the time. Evolve from Return from Ravnica is like a 4. So for like So it's a very interesting scale, but that doesn't mean that it's a mechanic that's higher up can't return. Madness was ranked at 8 on the scale. That's pretty high on the scale, but it came back in Shadows of Innistrad because they were able to find a proper home for it. So it's never impossible to see a mechanic return. It's just the higher the scale goes, the less likely it becomes. Well, now we have a new scale, and it's called and I want to get this right because I've actually never heard the name of this plane before. Rabiah, or Rabiah, one of the two. I'm going to go with the Rabiah, or Rabiah. I'm actually going to go with Rabiah. Rabiah sounds better. It doesn't sound like Rabbi as give me the merle. Anyway, the Rabiah scale. The Rabiah scale is essentially the same scale for planes, specifically planes we have visited before in the past, and the likelihood of us returning to them in the future. Now, again, like so many others, it's called the Rabiah scale because apparently the plane of Rabiah, which is a Persian-based plane, I think it's from like it's what was it, Mirage and Arabian Nights. That was it. I believe that it's apparently the plane area where those are based off of. That's the rank number 10 on the list. So now that being said, just because we have planes that are ranked number 1 doesn't mean they're going to be automatically the next ones, but it does lend credence to maybe some theories of what the next ones will be. Now, another couple things. These are all Mark Rosewater's actual opinions. He doesn't work with the R&D, the research and development, so he can't confirm or deny for certain what they think and how likely it is we're going to return there. He knows what he knows. For instance, he knew Innistrad was very popular, or he knew Madness was returning for Shadows over Innistrad, but he still put it on 8. Whatever he says on this scale does not indicate one way or the other what's going to be coming next down the road for return planes. Again, it's his opinion. And and just because something's ranked lower doesn't mean it can't show up. Also, similar planes like Kamigawa, for instance. Just because Kamigawa might be ranked higher, like I'll say right now, Kamigawa is ranked as an 8 on this scale, so it's pretty high out there. But it does not mean we couldn't see another Japanese-inspired plane. It just means that Kamigawa itself might be unlikely. But anyway, enough of my rambling. So what is the actual scale? How are these ranked? Well, ranked at number 10, we're actually going to go from 10 to 1. 10, the least likely is Rabiah, which apparently is a Persian-based plane. It's not one I played. I didn't really get back into or really start playing Magic. I got up like a deck when I was younger for, I think, Onslaught in middle school. I just couldn't get into Magic at the time. However, once I got out of high school, I got back I started playing Magic again with Mark, and I got back into it, and I enjoy it very much now. I really do enjoy Magic now. But Rabiah, I can't say I've heard of it. Again, I believe that's with like the Arabian Nights and things along those lines. That's why I never heard of it. So that's an unlikely one. Mercata is a number 9 plane. I've heard the name of that. In fact, let me actually get some of these up so I can have some reference material right here. Is it Merceda? Mercata? Potato? Patata? What is it? Mer... Is okay, there we go. And I probably misspelled that. Let's try that one. There we go. So is it Merceda or Mercata? I think it's Mercata. Mercata sounds better. So apparently Mercata is a plane near Dominaria, ruled by the Mercata city, sitting strategically atop an inverted mountain. From the pictures I have here, it looks like it's... or from what apparently like a decent amount of actual stories took place here, or at least one big one dealing with the myth of Ramos, who's one of his cards I actually have. Overall, I mean, apparently it has humans, it's got goblins. Apparently it looks like kind of like a desert plain. There's some trees, things along those lines, but nothing really amazing. Wrath. Now, Wrath, I also heard of. Wrath. MTG. There we go. So let's see. The plane of Wrath is an artificial plane. Okay. Now, right off the bat, I don't think we're going to be seeing that. It's utilized by the Phyrexians for staging points as well, which means here's the thing. Dominaria itself, and I'll just briefly comment, this is actually at the 4 level, so it's not hard. It's not impossible, but I don't understand why a lot of people would want to go back to Dominaria. There's nothing unique about Dominaria. In Obligar, it has cities and things along those lines, but so does a lot of things in D&D, which that's really what Dominaria really comes down to. It's the D&D plane, more or less. It's the... I mean, yeah, you can make the argument Zendikar is more of the D&D plane because of traps and adventures and creatures, but yeah, it's kind of not. When you really break down, before we really were getting any of the other new planes, Dominaria was the main plane we were on for God knows how long, and it gets boring after a while. So I don't know why, what would be unique enough to show back up on Dominaria, but who knows. Sarah's Realm. Sarah's Realm I think we'll almost never see because Sarah's the angel is dead. That's why it's ranked at 9. And Ulgroth is another one that during the Brothers' War I think is either destroyed or just... One second. Ulgroth. Let me double check to see if that thing is destroyed. Or Ulgroth, I should say. Yeah, okay, yeah. And... yeah, this is another one that looks like it's a small backwater plane. And was this the same for Homelands, which is considered probably the worst set in Magic history, or one of? It's not a very... also, it had ferrets. Go figure. It was inhabited by humans. It had dwarves, vampires, goblins, or fairies, minotaurs, and sea trolls. Go figure. Orcs that once lived there are now extinct. So the plane apparently does still exist, but it at least looks more interesting than, say, anything from Dominaria. But whatever. So those are the ranks number 1. The only other one that I'm not familiar with really at all is Segovia? What is Segovia? And again, these are cards that these are apparently planes that we have in fact been to. Segovia. Okay, Segovia, MTG. Yeah, these are all this isn't including future sight stuff either, where we only saw a couple cards worth now. Okay, this is a plane where everything is miniature. Even a Leviathan is about the size of a basic elephant. So everything is tiny in this. And apparently has a vastly aquatic nature, as noted by Nico Bolas, who visited there and apparently became tiny when he was there. I find that hilarious. But yes, it's a very tiny world. And yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's very aquatic, but other than being tiny, how do you illustrate the fact that everything its plane is so small compared to everything else? That's the difficulty you do that. You need to find a way of illustrating things and then find miniature mechanics. Kamigawa ranks as an 8 as well. It's just... It was not a good. It was just not a good set or not a good block overall. So it's hard to work with sets that were not popular. And but flavor wise, I think a lot of people did like the set. I'm one of the people who flavor wise likes the set. And when I say set, I mean the whole block, but I'm using set. But what are you gonna do? I mean, if it didn't work, it didn't work. And ranked into number 7, we have Chandelar, which I believe is where Chandra? Yeah, that's where Chandra visited. I'm pretty certain. Because I know there's the soul of Chandelar, or is it Regaloth or Regaloth? Yeah, it's one of the two. No, she visited Regaloth after she planeswalked. Chandelar is just one of those other random sets. Lorwyn and Shadowmoor, though, apparently, according to Rosewater, are not very popular. Which is weird because a lot of people I know like the sets. They like the hybrid mechanics and all that. I dig them myself. So it's a bit surprising that ranks 7 as the likelihood. Regaloth ranked at number 6. Now we're in the top 5. Not top 5 necessarily as 5 planes, but in the top 5 categories. These are planes that we're probably likely to see return. So at number 5 we have Fiora, but that's probably that's not going to happen unless you're doing another conspiracy set. You have New Phyrexia / Mirrodin. That's an eventuality. I'm pretty certain we'll go see that again, but I just don't think it's going to be like the next return set. Alar, in the number 4 spot, we have Dominaria. Again, I'm not quite certain how. But yeah, Tarkir. Tarkir was very popular as a plane, very liked as a set and block overall. Viren, which is the home plane of Jace, which has the mage rings. I can see that. I honestly can see that because flavor-wise, we didn't get a lot, but what we got was very cool. And then Alara. Alara is one I love. I would love to see us return to Alara because I dig multicolor more than anything else. Multicolor is fun as hell. So overall, I think it's likely we could see that return not like the next return set. I've already given my theory on what the next return set is, which I'll even get to this in just a second. But overall, I think it's likely we're going to return to Alara at some point. Kaladesh and Theros both rank in the number 3 spot. Kaladesh they put in here because it came out. And yeah, there seems to be a lot of design space still for Kaladesh. I mean, we still have Aether Revolt to get to. And Theros, there's still a lot of story that can be told on Theros. We're almost guaranteed to return. It's not a question of if with Theros, it's a question of when. Because of, with the story with... why am I blanking out on Elspeth? We're going to see her return. Number 2 is Zendikar. Now, while Battle for Zendikar and Oath of the Gatewatch maybe didn't do overly well as sets, the play itself is still very much loved. We still love Zendikar, and they recognize they made a mistake with that. So overall, it could definitely work. But the number 1 and the 2 number 1 planes that rank on the Rabiah scale it's Domino, you're silly. Sorry, but Domino was lying down and she kind of got off the couch, so she's got her feet on the floor, but she's got her butt still just like, no, I don't want to go yet. My butt doesn't want to move. Hey, Joe Papa, you want your thing? Hold on. Where's your... I thought she had her chew toy here. Okay, there's Domino. Hi, baby. Don't worry, I'm almost done. I'll turn the light back off so you can go to bed. All right. But yeah, it's Innistrad. It ranks as number 1, tied with Ravnica. In terms of the popularity, in terms of how well the set's played out, these are the 2 that work the best, that are most likely to return to once again. Innistrad I've already been to again, so we're gonna not see that for a while, but we will see it again. That's a guarantee. And Ravnica. We've already returned once to Ravnica. But as I stated, this is the one I think we're actually likely to see again as a return plane. As a return set. Right after Amonkhet, we'll be due for another return set. And I honestly think this is the one that we're going to go to, is Ravnica again. Because there's still much more design space, much more stories to tell. I mean, you guild wars, all that. You can maybe have guilds start meshing with each other for a little bit. We have new combinations. There's so much flavor in Ravnica that it would be a gigantic miss not to go back to Ravnica. And the charts say, and the focus groups say, it's basically one of the tied with Innistrad as the most popular plane ever created. Gothic horror meets the guild colors again. And the guild colors and the guild infighting, all that. You could choose an identity with Ravnica. It just made the most sense. And it makes the most sense to have it as a third return. It'll be the first third return they do when they do it. I'm certain they'll do it. Because, I mean, what else have we returned to? We've returned to Zendikar and Innistrad, but we just had those, so we're not going to return to them. The only other one we get to return to right now and have it as the third time would be Phyrexia/Mirrodin. But, yeah, I just don't see that happening right now. Plus, it's unlikely because despite the fact that Phyrexians have taken over, it'd still be an artifacted block. So you're not going to have an artifact block with Kaladesh move over to Amonkhet, which will probably have like may have Trash, might definitely will have Gods. You're not going to have that, and then go back to an artifact block. You're going to space them out just a little bit. So I do find it interesting that I did call that Ravnica was probably one of the most, if not the most popular plane, which serves my theory that I think it's going to be the next return. But no, that's the Rabiah scale. Again, correct me by the way if I'm pronouncing that right. Is it Rabiah or Rabbi? I think it's Rabiah. But anyway, yeah, that's my thoughts on the Rabiah scale. It's a fun scale. I think the Storm scales are fun, especially when they keep adding to the Storm scales after we get like sets like when Kaladesh and Aether Evolutions go through, how we'll see them ranked on the Storm scale. I always find those articles fun to read. And I'll think I'll find it fun too when we actually get the Rabiah scale articles. Those will be pretty fun. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. I'll do a review of it at some point. If you have ideas for who would wins, what ifs, put those in the comments below. I do get to them. I have no other plans for the week besides box office. Though the Mummy trailer, the Tom Cruise Mummy Universal movie, does drop on Sunday, so I'll probably do a reaction video to that. Other than that, though, I have no other plans. If something happens, I'll talk about it, obviously. But yeah, I have no other plans besides that. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good rest of your evening.